We're happy to talk again this month with John Ellsworth of Success Strategies, a financial consultant for dairy farmers and other farming operations. He's a regular contributor to our DairyBusiness.com, and we're happy to speak with him most months. A topic this month is a recent column of his in which it was entitled "A Confession to Make," but his point was that he often begins work with his dairy producer clients talking about a financial plan, when oftentimes the dairyman wants to talk about operations on the dairy. And John, you made some good points about how a financial plan can lead to improvements in the dairy operation, but it is a financial plan. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, thank you, Joel. Good morning. I guess I'd like to, my whole objective of this article was to bring attention to the fact that I don't know that anybody wants a financial plan. I think the ultimate objective is they want what a good financial plan can provide them. And, that is a well thought out strategy, the well thought out strategy, business objectives that they can pursue, and of course the steps necessary to get there, and then a reasonable deadline for the goals that they want to achieve, whether it's 1-year goals, 3-year goals, 5-year goals. They basically need a plan to stay on track. And I think people, as a result of that have been most successful, measure their financial results in two terms: in terms of dollars and cents, but also in terms of are they hitting the other objectives that go along with that. And of course, and just same in our personal lives, if we're hitting our financial objectives, everything else seems to go better and go more easily. And if we aren't, then everything's like an uphill battle, of course. And that's not much fun for any of us. It's like rolling a boulder uphill. So
you might just speak briefly about how you help somebody get started with this process. What sorts of things are you looking at, and what do you measure operationally?
Well, operationally, from a financial standpoint, the first thing that we do is I do an extensive analysis of what their starting position is, because it's hard to set a destination when you don't know where you're starting from. And sometimes that's starting out of a hole. The last 4 years have been, for a lot of producers, have been pretty difficult. But remember, the best way to get out of a hole is to stop digging. So we figure out kind of where they are financially from a balance sheet standpoint, assets and liabilities, what their net worth is. And then more detailed, we look into their cash flow analysis and what are they doing today? Are they high some expense areas? Are they low in all expense areas, which would be fabulous. Nobody normally is. And get a sense of where they are, and more significantly, not just looking at historicals, but looking as kind of a futurist, where can they go? What's reasonable for them to attain over the next 12 months, 24 months? And with those objectives reached, where do we end up as far as hitting the objectives that they said they wanted? Because I think the most important thing is at the very beginning, I'll ask them, if we're meeting here 3 years from today, what has to happen for you to be happy with your progress? Because that's a whole business planning process. I mean, that's the gist of the whole business planning process, taking them where they want to go, where they want to end up 3 to 5 years down the road.
And I know from our previous conversations that you have the experience and also the opportunity to help dairymen move from the financial reporting into some of the operational aspects, and which deals with cow throughput, heifer inventories, feed management. So you do help folks make the connection between the numbers on the page and what's going on out on the dairy.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's an excellent point you make, Joel, because the financial results are sort of like the report card, but the report card is a summary of what's happened during the semester, during the quarter, during the year, however, very similar to a school situation. And the reality is those things are all impacted by the managerial aspects. What's the reproductive program like? What's the pregnancy rate running? Those aren't immediate overnight, but they can take you upward or downward. Those types of measures can really impact you in a very positive or a very negative way. You could almost look, this is interesting, I hadn't really planned to talk about this, but it's a great point you bring out. If you think about just something like the pregnancy rate, you can go into, whether it's Dairy Comp or DHIA programs, you can go in there and look at the pregnancy rate, and you can pretty well estimate what the financial performance of the business is. And it's a simple reason. High pregnancy rate, high pregnancies give you more fresh cows, give you more milk, and a regular flow. And I think the last couple of years, particularly in this last 4-year downturn that we've seen from 2015 to 18, the people that have stayed on top with the number of fresh cows, pregnancies, which are managerial tools, measurements, that have had a consistent influx of fresh cows in their herd every month, their cash flow suffered far less than those that maybe had like a 13, 14, 15% pregnancy rate. And they were getting fresh cows, but it was very up and down, not necessarily consistently month to month throughout the year. So it's probably a topic for a whole different discussion sometime, but it's interesting, the correlation between their financial results and those managerial measurements that we're just discussing.
Well, John, we thank you again for speaking with us. I enjoy seeing your regular columns. We're happy to publish them.
Thank you.
Tying the financial results to the dairy operations, I think, is something unique that you can help folks with. I've been speaking today with John Ellsworth of Success Strategies. This is Joel Hastings for DairyBusiness.com.